Squirm Squad. We need to continue deploying.
Wait, we haven't.
Technically, it's only just me and Teo. So come on, Teo. Gotta find your
Sure.
wife.
Wait,
Sure.
if
Whatever.
we haven't deployed yet, how the hell have we been fighting all this time?
Well, you and Jove are supposed to, help the citizens get back to the surface safe.
Pretty much.
So what's
Let's see.
this?
Locust
So
terminal.
come on,
Found some
dweebs.
kind of
Let's
terminal
escort
that the
these
Locust
civilians
will
to
apparently
safety and the higher ground.
But the higher ground is filled with locusts.
So
So
the
basically,
locals,
we need to keep searching for more terminals so we can find Maria. Okay, sounds simple enough.
again, interesting the fact that the locals possesses the capacity for this kind of technology.
Yes, interesting indeed.
Oh jeez.
Lovely.
I don't think Maria is gonna be in good shape.
Oh, there she is.
Oh,
She
there we
looks
go.
pretty good.
I think he found her.
But is it really her?
Where
Sort of
is
a
she?
fake.
But what's
So there you
that
go.
symbol mean? Could be where they're keeping her. Let's look around.
All right, so we have to find places or any kind of terminals that have that specific symbol. Okay.
Alright then, easy enough.
All right, so let's see. All right, so from this point on, we have to keep moving and trying to find all the terminals that we can and seeing which symbol they have. If we find the correct symbol,
Marcus,
we're
what are
sure
you
to
pointing
find
this
the Maria's in one of these sarcophagus things.
Wow,
The
Dom's
Locust
actually
has.
taking point on this
How long
one.
have they been
Truly, he's
Yeah,
come a
he's like
long
this.
way from being the lazy AI partner that he was in the first Gears of War game.
Maria's in one of these
I'll just say
things
that.
with-
I'll
All
just say
of these
this.
contain people being tortured, Jesus.
Oh, another thing, Teo, that I'd like to mention to you. You know, there's also another thing, Teo, that this game is going to do, and going to do something well that Final Fantasy 13 could not do. But I'll bring it up. Once
Oh.
Well, so combined with what we've seen of stuff like Tai beforehand, this game is certainly trying to go through the whole war is bad message by
That's not it.
showcasing how ruthless the locals
Gotta
have
find that
become.
symbol.
Let's not forget, they tortured Tai, a legendary
It's
badass, into killing himself
not
just
even-
to
it's
stop
not-
the pain.
It's not even just that, Teo. Later on, when there's a later plot twist later on, it's going to become even more clear why the Locusts are
like a
being
patrol up there.
so aggressive this time. Trust me, there's actually a good reason for it.
Let's let him
Don't-
pass by.
They're evil.
Well,
No, there's
no.
It's
Believe it or
not
but
quite
no,
that simple.
okay.
It's not quite that. It's not quite that simple, Dwebs.
I'm
The
using-
game will attain some good moral gray area. Later. You'll see.
If I'm using my 440k logic, they're fleeing from something even worse.
We'll see.
Be
Okay,
careful
basically,
not to be
these particular sections are sections where if you play the cards right, you don't have to fight them.
Stealth.
So well, not so much stealth. There, it's more so you stay hidden until they leave.
Isn't that stealth?
Well, no,
on a
Java,
lighter degree, Java.
the deleted chapter is one that has stealth, Java, but we'll see that in the next part. So,
Not the same.
all right, let's keep
It's
looking.
not the right symbol. Let's go.
Basically, here's
Deeper
what you
and
do.
deeper in.
Basically, here's what you do. Since Dom is taking point, he will tell you vocally when they'll leave. So even if you're not particularly looking at the locust, it's okay because Dom will vocally warn you when it's okay to move on.
Hmm.
There you go. Might as well save bullets for when we actually have to use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if it were me, it'd be like, yeah.
I can
Well, actually,
imagine that
it's interesting you say that, dude, because there's going to be a choice involving matters of that, but I'll get to it.
No, not this one either.
This isn't the right area.
Yeah, well, good job. It's a good job. They don't explode if you press the wrong one.
Or trigger an alarm.
Well, remember, the terminal's being operated by Jack, and Jack knows.
yeah.
And Jack knows how. Think of Jack as the C-3PO of the franchise. He uses his thing where he puts the thing on the hole of the terminal and he does things with it.
Isn't that
Also,
also
yeah, not for
R2D2?
Yeah, that's it. R2D2. Sorry.
Also, it's here not for nothing, but I think something exploding is worse than something setting off the alarm.
You'd be surprised,
not
Wibbs.
this one.
You'd
I
be
mean,
surprised.
with an explosion, 99% of the time you die immediately. At least with the alarm, you
Lives,
have a vague chance of escape.
Lives, a firecracker counts as an explosion. You need to be more specific.
And
Oh,
it will blow
snap.
up the whole building.
Alright, let's take this down.
The
the
catacomb
old-fashioned
in
way.
this case. There you go. There's the twist method. Well, actually, no. Mine would be just run up to him and punch.
I guess that can work to a degree since, you know, the gun also has a melee compartment to it, but good luck going up against bigger enemies.
It...
Oh boy.
Oh, thank God.
Whew.
Yeah, sorry, we got it.
Dom, are you okay down there?
What the fuck do you think?
Well,
down,
your
but
beacon's
that's
in
okay.
red.
It's okay. Fortunately, I can heal him. However, I need to take down these guys first. Stay still, goddammit.
Well, that's what that can cover.
And he's losing blood too. That's not good.
Don't worry, Jova. Fortunately, he has NPC character immunity. He's fine.
Ooh, headshot.
NPC character immunity. That could be like the academy for characters. Hello and welcome to the Naughty Dog School of NPCs.
Whoa, you literally
Those who
severed that.
graduate will have the immunity of being
Oh, hi,
only
Dom.
controlled by the
There you
plot,
go.
not the player.
You literally severed that guy's head with that headshot.
Well, that's kind of the whole point of a headshot.
Well, I mean, severing a guy's head is in removing it from the neck. That's a powerful blow.
Well, all the cogs weapons Jova seem to be using high caliber bullets anyway, so
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. What about this place? Oh, ammo? Thanks. Let's see. Locust terminal. Let's see.
let's give it a try.
Oh, it actually is the correct symbol.
Oh, great.
This must be the area. Start looking.
All right, start searching, Jack.
I am sorry. She was
Oh,
dead
no.
before the.
Oh boy.
No, remember the webs. He's the R2D2, so he only makes beep beep noises.
Jack,
And it's translated. Hey, you hired me. You hired me
Speaking
to
of
be
that
the
melee
robo
feature,
technician. I mean, isn't that what you hired me for? To be the technician translator?
Actually, we hired
well-
you for backup.
Well, technically, Jova, I was originally thinking of giving Baird to Dwebs, and that would fit with what he just described. It's just that the character he himself came up with was much more similar to Carmine. So.
But is Baird still alive?
Of course, Baird's still
Remember,
alive.
Baird and Cole are bringing the civilians back to safety before joining
Yeah.
us again.
Because
Someone has to help the civilians get back.
If Baird dies, I'll take his position as chief technician person.
Don't worry, Dwebs. You can be both Baird and Carmine.
Oof.
Oh boy.
But I'm no longer known as Baird. Now I am Beard. As they look at my beard.
Well, he does get a beard. Well, in Gears 5, he's both bald and has a beard. So.
Yeah. Did they make a joke like that in the game?
Well, that's the thing. The funniest scene in Gears 5 is one involving Baird and a new computer he created. That's the funny. Behold that. The best scene in that game is one involving one of the older characters. But but I can get to that eventually.
But I digress.
Yeah, but I digress. All right.
Go across the streams.
Yes.
Oh, I don't like that sound.
Oh boy.
Well, it was just me getting something to eat. Rations.
Also, the composer is trying a bit too hard for the situation.
Complete with the choir and everything.
Steve wants to make sure that you feel attention to.
He definitely likes using his choir, that's for certain.
Where was the choir in the Transformers movies then? The most we got out of Steve Jablonsky in those films, I mean, especially the later ones, was.
Well, remember this: the composer is limited to the kind of music that the director wants. So, yeah, I can probably see where I'm
Jack,
going with that.
open it up.
Anyway, cutscene. This is important.
Oh, we found her.
I can't believe it, Marcus. We finally found her.
Don't jinx it.
Damn it, the tension. It's empty. Oh,
No.
no. Oh,
Doesn't look too happy though. Although to be fair, I wouldn't be happy either if I were trapped in that.
mhm. Oh no.
Yeah, I figured.
When they step outside the container, they get...
I love the voice acting in this. I love voice acting in this scene, though.
No, baby. No, 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 no. What did they do to you? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I tried to find you. God, I did. Please, no. Maria. God damn it, it's me, Dominic. It's Dominic. Marcus.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, man. She... I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Maria. I love you so much.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Better stop her suffering. Yeah.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought it was Video Brigade when they slow it down.
Babes, please.
No. Okay, you see, Sonic 06. This is actually when it's a good idea to suddenly use the black and white filter instead of whatever the fuck you were trying to do.
That was supposed to be a filter?
Yeah.
Did you notice how the screen went black and white during the cutscene?
I thought it was just the lighting.
No, it went black and white.
For context,
Besides,
we
with the whole Maria context, I probably would have been better referencing Shadow the Hedgehog.
For context, we just got off Watch 2, aka a film that decides the best way to pad out the runtime is to constantly start and stop, and that was giving me quite severe Gladiator's 2 flashbacks.
So yes, Dominic is quite pissed.
Not just that. Did you notice what he said? Did you notice what Did you notice what Marcus said to Dom too? I found a good way to sneak into the Locust lair, but if you want to charge in guns blazing, I don't blame you. And then Dom's like, I want to kill them all. And then he goes, so there you go. We actually managed to have a charging guns blazing aspect where it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go, Teo. Final Fantasy XIII was being outdone by a dude bro shooter, storytelling wise.
When did this game come out?
The
2008.
The completeness will be apologizing to Adore, I suppose.
Oh god.
What?
Hello.
Colors.
But yeah, the reason I was mentioning is because remember too, there was that one scene in Shadow's story in Sonic 06 where Shadow's like, Mephiles, who is he? And then suddenly the screen goes black and white for no reason. Where in a scene where it doesn't really, in this scene it actually made sense. It was for the purpose of the mood of the scene, but it made no sense in Sonic 06. It was just random.
Honestly, it didn't felt to me when it was black and white because some stuff like the torches still had that shade of yellow. So I don't know what they did.
It's because the change was subtle. If you go back and watch it and pay more attention to the colors, you'll notice that it's because the transition is actually subtle and well done. Whereas when Sonic 06 is so blatant, you know, so it's much more noticeable.
More anime-esque, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, time to charge in, guns blazing, and kill all the Locusts.
You motherfucker!
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Lord knows they've got it coming after this.
Indeed.
We can just find our way.
Still, the place is surprisingly empty. So
Well,
far, at least.
Well, remember, too,
Alright.
we haven't gotten to the palace yet, so...
All right, place your bets. How long do you think it will be before it turns out this is all a trap?
I was actually wondering if you were saying that Dom is gonna die recklessly. And
Believe it or not, Dibs, right now the Locusts are a bit too busy with something else in order to place a trap, but we'll get to that.
It's explained in a comic book.
No.
God.
I mean in the story of this game, actually. That part is actually explained here. Even if it was explained in a comic, I wouldn't know since I haven't read them outside of the ones that we read
It's
for
like
Ultimate
in Hunt It's like in Hunt Down the Freeman where
There you
you
go.
are pointed.
There you go. There's the palace over there, or
Oh.
tower, I think. Look at it, the Nexus.
Of course. Hey guys, wanna know you need a name for something that's at the center of everything but don't know what to do? Just call it Nexus. That's fine.
All right, we're gonna take it straight to the Locust Queen.
Plot twist. It turns out the Locust Queen isn't there. She's just over in the gym locker over yonder, but she thought that anyone would think she was in the biggest tower.
Isn't that one of the Evil Overlord 101 list?
Yes.
moments?
I think that was rule number 238.
All right. So basically, like Marcus just said, the other members of the COG are still trying to dig out the way in here so they can help us. So we have to make sure we find a good place to launch the beacon.
But no, Joe, it's like in Hunt Down the Freeman where the entire purpose of that spin-off is essentially you having such a convoluted plan so that Gordon Freeman can walk in easy mode in one of the levels of Half-Life 2.
You
Are
know-
you kidding?
You know, I don't get the makers of that game. I mean, okay. Call that game a scam all you want, but they actually legit did want to make a good game. So here's what I don't get. So you're making a new Half-Life game, one that apparently Valve themselves are okay with, seeing as how they allow it to be sold on their storefront. Why not just make the actual Half-Life free? Like, why make this stupid side
I have
project?
to hazard a guess about Valve greenlighting that. Valve was already testing around that time the episode Helix, I think it's called, the VR title that they're about to release, I think this year actually. But they basically allowed Untold the Freeman to happen just so when they actually drop the trailer for this one instead, we will be more happy because, you know, now they had something to look forward to for the franchise.
So what? So what you're saying is that they did it in the hopes that we'll actually get Half-Life free?
What do you mean? Sorry, I didn't get the question.
Like, well, I mean, so are you suggesting that they just made, you know, Hunt Down the Freeman as sort of something to tide over Half-Life fans until...
No, I mean, they approved of that to get on Steam and all, just so that they had a scapegoat to build up hype for eventually the episode Helix.
Lord knows if that plan worked or may have backfired with how Hunt Down the
We'll see,
Freeman
John. Well,
went.
the reception has been positive so far. It's just the VR exclusive bit that it's stinging a bit, but everyone else seems to be happy.
It does seem like a weird choice to make. Like, you have Half-Life fans who have been waiting eons for a new installment, and yet you make it VR exclusive.
You have to remember, Joe, Valve is the one, after all, the one who saved the PC gaming by revolutionizing graphical engines and experimenting with stuff. and so it's doing it again, just in VR form. The
Uh-huh.
spirit is still there.
So do you think they're actually gonna make Half-Life free at this point?
Who knows? Sky's the limit, I guess, so we don't give a shit.
I'll admit, I'm one who actually would care more for a Portal free than a Half-Life free.
I'd rather have Half-Life 3 incorporate Portal into it, because at this point, those two series are practically in canon.
I know, right? Yeah, and in fact, why not have Shell show up in Half-Life 3?
I mean, mind you, she's a bit tricky because her portal gun works only on moonstone surfaces, and that's a bit hard to incorporate them. So
Oh, hey, Dom.
the reason we worked so well in the portal, for 2 portal games is because the entire place was coated with moonstone powder.
And what do you think they'll get J.K. Simmons to reprise his role?
Well, he is dead by the time Portal 2, so unless we find more audio logs.
Precisely my point.
Oh,
I can
more.
definitely see them bringing Stephen Merchant again for Wheatley.
Oh yeah, Wheatley. I think you would like Wheatley, Dwibs.
Well, I mean, I have seen Stephen Merchant and stuff before, so, yeah.
Wheatley is pretty much literally a British... Not even a British... Well, he's a British AI of sorts.
In a bold format.
So we have an AI with a Bristol accent who is quirky.
Yeah.
Oh, very quirky.
But to get you an idea, Dweebs, oh jeez. To give you an idea,
Well,
Dweebs,
the best way to kill one of these guys that has a flamethrower terror is to shoot at the flamethrower pack itself. That
Makes
way
sense.
it will start leaking, it will explode and kill the Locust.
Makes
Nice.
sense.
Anyway, you were
But to be
saying?
fair, Dweeb, to be honest, Dweebs, to explain to you, there's a point where he actually has to fake an actual American accent, and it's so stupid, hilariously stupid in how hard he's trying to do that. Oop.
There you go.
I love how much effort he puts into vaulting over that.
That reminds me. In terms of like the.
Oh
Heroes
great!
of-
Now it's the evil overall is taunting you through the microphone part. Go on.
Gears of War 4 raised the max ammo of the Lancer back to 520. However, Gears 5 decreases the max ammo back to 420, like in Gears 3.
They don't know.
Why can't they make up their minds on
Yeah.
how much the max ammo of this weapon is?
I know, right?
They don't seem to get their mind.
So what's
on
next? In
themselves.
Gears of War 6, they reverse it back again, only then in Gears of War 7 to reverse it yet again?
Well, honestly, Jova, that's kind of been the pattern so far. So,
Jesus.
I mean, I get game balancing, but come on, at some point you need to make up your mind. There you go.
You know, it's interesting thinking back to E3 of 2016 when we first heard about the Gears of War 4 announcement. We weren't as well versed in Gears of War as we are now. And I've
I was
gotten...
actually,
Oh, go on.
I actually was rewatching yesterday our commentary of E3 2018, Microsoft's conference specifically, where they showed the first cinematic campaign trailer
Of Gears of War 5?
of Gears 5. Yes. Remember, Joe, it's not Gears of War anymore. It's just Gears.
Gears, right.
That's what the hip kids.
Definitely the queen.
And I remember I was just, since I hadn't played the games anymore, I was just kind of relying on you guys to tell me things. And you guys were didn't seem very sure of things either. But now it becomes a lot easier for me to tell, like how that trailer, that was a very poor choice for them to show that cutscene out of context, because that cutscene makes a lot more sense when you see it in context. Because seeing that cutscene in context, I mean, it still doesn't change the fact that Kate literally turning to JD and going, "This isn't about you, it's about me."
Yeah, talk about a meta line for that story.
Yeah, that wasn't the best way to introduce your campaign. at
It
all.
really
Yeah,
wasn't.
It's not much. It's not much better when you see it in context. Still, but still, like that. That wasn't a good idea. Like when you see it in context, it makes a bit more sense. But it's still such a poor choice of words on part of the writer. Because not to mention, you know what's the interesting thing? After Kate finally finds out about her past, she starts being kind of mean to Dell and the others. To be honest, she's constant. She's not even joining the banter, the comedic banter anymore. She's just kind of super serious all of a sudden.
But Pedro, don't you see? That revelation makes her life hell, and now she doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Not really, but I can't say why because spoilers. But let's just say I don't buy that because let's just, without going into spoilers, by the time Act 2 of Gears 5 finishes, nothing really advances from that backstory. But whatever, I'll get back into that in time.
Oh, jeez. There we go.
Let's see if we can headshot them.
We literally look like a Black Ops Locust with the hood and everything.
Whoa!
What the fuck?
I was shot.
Gears of War, the Red
geez.
Hood.
There's also the fact that this Raven showed up.
Please stay away.
It's okay, Theo.
Oh, Theo, you think the creepy crawlies are bad in this game? Wait till you get to Gears of War 3.
Well, I'd say that the spider monster from the first was a bit more, intimidating.
Oh, we have that in this game too.
The one that showed up also in this game, yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, it depends. We're also gonna get some new stuff in Gears 3.
Now, how about that lovely worm?
Oh damn. Well, at least we killed it.
From the inside out, no less.
Yes, we got like how many? 5 hearts? Like
5
I don't
hearts, Jesus.
3 or 4.
Headshot.
Come on, there we go.
Alright, let's see. Ammo. There we go.
Pretty
Just
sure
hope-
we're done, I think.
Just hope Cole and Barrett are able to find their way A-OK to us.
Don't worry, Joe, but nothing stops the coal train.
Yeah, true.
Alright, oh, and never mind, I guess these two decided to join in the party.
Oh.
Humpty Dumpty.
Fortunately, they're big, hard to miss targets. There we go.
Species? Yeah, right.
Yeah, dominant species. Who's the one who won in the last game?
But you're called Dom. That can be a unity for dominant.
Of course.
It's interesting you say that to Dominic. That's his name.
Yeah.
That's JD's proper name. He named he named his son JD James Dominic Phoenix. So after his
Aww.
best friend.
Oh, was this a puzzle? Oh no, okay.
No, we don't really
with
get
beacon?
puzzles until Gears 5.
Almost. We need to get a little closer to the palace.
Weirdly enough.
They can be stopped. Don't give in.
Aw, she's giving them a pep talk.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, Joe. But Gears 5 is kind of trying to add in some adventure elements.
Which, I have no problem with, just do it well, and from what I've seen, Gears 5 doesn't.
They're not exactly great. Like they have these big wide areas, but they honestly
The
they just
open war meme, of course.
well, it's not too bad, Teo. It just comes across as pointless, and it doesn't really add much to the game, to be honest. Yeah, it gives the opportunity to have secondary missions, but the secondary missions are nothing to write home about, to be honest. So it's not exactly something that if it's removed in Gear 6, I won't really lose any sleep over it, to be honest.
In a sense, it feels gimmicky in the bad sense. Gimmicky in the good sense is where it doesn't feel like just a gimmick there for the sake of being a gimmick, but something that actually makes the game more fun. In Gears 5, the open world elements, if you can call them that, feels literally just like a gimmick tacked on to say, look at that, we tried! We probably won't try it again, unless you guys liked it. And going off of the effort, you probably won't.
Let me put it like this, Teo. The skiff, which is the vehicle you use in those sections, think of the open areas, quote unquote, as like mini terrains that work like the Sea of in Wind Waker, where except it's much smaller and there's way less stuff to do in it.
Think
Like,
of
it's
it also like, you know, the boat in Beyond Good and Evil. You know, you use it strictly for traveling.
Yeah, sure, that works too. Yeah, like the boat in Beyond Good and Evil in a lot of ways. Like, it's there, it works, it functions, yeah, but it's not really necessary if you ask me. I would much prefer if they focus on trying to make this a bit more dude bro, a bit more about the war at it, because one of the problems I have with the story of Gears 5 is that it kind of goes against the theme of the original trilogy. The theme of the original trilogy is about coming together in order to face a greater threat. You know, like we saw that speech that the president had at the beginning of this game.
Yeah.
The story of Gears 5 is more there's a lot of conflict that serves the purpose of dividing the group, causing rifts between the group, and at the same time also tackling a little commentary on U.S. politics. Yes, because we totally need that in a Gears game, apparently.
Gears 5, in many ways, feels like a weird arbitrary experiment that really did not need to take place. Now, I know you could say, oh, but couldn't you say that about any experiment? No, I mean, it's an experiment in the sense where you really did not need to go this far with this. Why are you doing this?
It's more so the fact that instead of... it's two things, Joe. But campaign-wise, the game has basically abandoned what Gears once was. And it's more about a collection of typical tropes rather than just retaining the war, rising together in face of a greater threat angle that this trilogy was going for. And multiplayer-wise, the cross-play ruined a lot of shit. The multiplayer is full of incredibly unbalanced and buggy stuff. Like, there's plenty of YouTubers that will describe that much better for me because I've seen plenty of those videos.
Didn't help that the meta got messed up again because they messed with the ammos on a lot of guns here. It wasn't just the main one, but also others too. Like, can I talk about?
To be fair, Joe, as long as it's consistent within the context of each specific game, that way the multiplayer. It's not like you can play multiplayer Gears 2 with Gears 3. You can only play Gears 3 with Gears 3, so it's not like it matters.
Oh, I get that, but apparently players were a bit annoyed by that as well, if only because it sort of changed the meta here. Granted, I'm not as big on meta gameplay with, you know, dude bro shooters as I am with something like Smash Brothers or CTR, so I'll admit, I'm not the biggest expert on meta in, you know, multiplayer shooting games. But apparently stuff like gun ammo and whatnot can be countered into the meta and what people will rank certain weapons on.
I don't play Gears multiplayer, but I've seen videos by people who are specialists in the matter, so I can get a basic sense of what the problems are.
You know, the similarities between this and Halo are quite stunning here. Halo, an amazing original trilogy. After that, Halo 4 happened. People hated it. Halo 5 happened. People absolutely hated that.
You know what's interesting, Joe?
What?
Unlike Gears, where Epic was kind of getting to a point where they didn't want to make the games anymore because they were getting too expensive to make. Microsoft could have done better because apparently from what I've been told, the main reason Bungie went independent to make Destiny was because they pitched Destiny to Microsoft and Microsoft refused the pitch, so they decided to.
So let me get this straight. The company that helped Microsoft be put on the map, with flipping Halo, which is pretty much Microsoft's Mario, you're telling me that they refused a project from the company that made them that good. Now, don't get me wrong, seeing how Destiny turned out, maybe, but in the context of that, maybe it could have been better under Microsoft's leadership than Activision's.
I'm actually not surprised that much, Jova, because if you take a look at the context of when it happened, it actually does make us smart. Because remember, back when it happened, Peter Moore had already left Microsoft, and Don Matrick was the one in charge. And Don Matrick was more, Don Matrick was more about taking down the Wii with the Kinect. And stuff and more about casual games and stuff like that.
We all know how that turned out.
The sad part, Job, is that if had they pitched it to Phil Spencer most likely would have definitely jumped on it because Phil Spencer has already said that he's a fan of Destiny and he loves games as a service.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Phil Spencer would have totally greenlit Destiny.
For as many problems as I have with Phil Spencer, he definitely seems more like a guy who actually would legit enjoy games as opposed to Don Matrick. Ugh.
I don't know, Jova. The fact that he's literally going on in interviews and saying, saying what gamers should not, basically saying that he won't do something because he doesn't like this or he doesn't want this, instead of like for example not greenlighting an Alan Wake sequel because he doesn't like that game. Didn't you think what, just because you don't like it, Phil? Did you think it maybe Xbox gamers might like it? No, you didn't think that, did you? Of course
I'll just say what most people think and say I just miss the Peter Moore days when the Xbox was, about being just a good console.
Not to mention, Jova, ever since getting in touch with stuff, I've actually realized that Phil Spencer has been kind of lying quite a lot over the years. Like, for example, when Street Fighter V became a console exclusive for the PS4, Phil Spencer told Xbox fans that he was going to make up for it for them. He never did. The Killer Instinct 2 that many fans have requested never got greenlit.
Oh, damn.
He also kept promising each year the best E3 ever, the best Gamescom ever, the best insert conference here ever. And whatever. We can talk about this maybe some other time. See you for the next part, everybody.
Look forward to this year's E3 2020 for the best E3 ever.
See ya.
See ya.